Whole Foods Market has certainly come a long way. Some of you might recall when Whole Foods first came into your area that the mom and pop stores were still there. So there were these smaller natural food stores, these health stores that were around when Whole Foods first came on the scene. Those stores, in many instances, are no longer in existence. One store was Wild Oats. Wild Oats appeared to be Whole Foods' major competition when Whole Foods sprung up in these areas. And Wild Oats was very much a large health food store, a large natural store. And it smelled like a health food store. It smelled like a natural store. It had a very holistic community focus. This was different from what was going on with Whole Foods because Whole Foods was a little bit more sophisticated. And it also appeared that Whole Foods went out of its way to make sure that that natural food store, health food store smell was not in the air. At any rate, you might have also noted that at some point in time, Whole Foods acquired, took over, ran out of business the entity known as Wild Oats. And so we were left with this big Whole Foods that was growing even more every day. And so now Whole Foods is owned by Amazon. And so Amazon acquired Whole Foods that, of course, acquired Wild Oats a while back. And so this also changed the nature of Whole Foods, how Whole Foods was perceived and what Whole Foods was offering. It's very odd, this combination of Whole Foods Market and Amazon. But they came together in this marriage under this big corporate umbrella. And now Whole Foods has moved into the tech industry very deeply so with its marriage with Amazon. Um, you might be currently in an area right now where Whole Foods is offering what's known as Amazon One, a sort of palm reading device. Yes, they're into palm reading now. And this palm reading device is very interesting. It looks a little different apparently in some locations. In some locations, it has like this light that is a rectangular shape, and then it looks like some of these devices have a circle shape. And when you see it, the white circle or the white rectangle might be actually glowing. So it's a very interesting thing to see there. It's located next to the device that you would pay your credit card through. So you have that device that you tap or you insert or you slide. And so this palm reader thing is now located next to that device when people check out. And the idea is individuals who are a part of this particular plan, they can scan their palm and pay for their food or whatever items they've purchased at Whole Foods. Now, interestingly, this service is available at a number of locations aside from Whole Foods, but Whole Foods Market has committed to installing these little machines in all of the stores. And so there's a limited availability now, but it's pretty broad in various states. And so individuals have this option now of doing this thing. We're going to talk a little bit more about some of the things entailed with this palm reading device. And here you see this recent article. Amazon One Palm payment technology is coming to all 500 plus Whole Foods Market stores in the US. It's really interesting because the number one comes up quite a bit with a number of paradigms that you see throughout the world. There's this idea of oneness. You even see some countries that have this idea of one associated with them. And you look at the motto for Jamaica, you look at E pluribus unum. So this idea of one is some very important concept, one world order. It's an important concept for many people, apparently, this idea of singularness, oneness, unity, indivisibility. So anyway, Amazon is no exception here with this Amazon One Palm payment technology. Now, there are a number of things that this palm reading is supposed to be able to do. What's interesting about it is that it's not simply fingerprinting or palm printing, as in the lines in the palm or the lines in the fingers. It goes deeper than that. And so what this thing, according to what they are saying, what this thing purportedly does is it actually goes deeper into the hand and it scans the vascular structure. And so by doing that, it's providing some information about the person's vascular structure and function. What it's supposed to do is provide identity. So this is a biometric, biological measurement. And so it's supposed to prove the identity of the individual based upon what's supposed to be the unique vascular structure. According to the narrative, there are no two um, similar vascular structures, or they might be similar, but they are not identical. We'll just say that. And so every vascular structure in the hand is supposed to be unique, and somehow or another, this machine can see through your hand and see your vascular structure and, of course, the function. And so it's supposed to provide identity or verify identity, also used to verify age. What this also does is track, in many ways, commercial transactions through the hand, vascular structure there. It also provides access to financial accounts. And so, whatever is going on with the hand, the vascular structure, it's providing information to this machine, to the commercial entity. It's providing information about the financial accounts of the individual with the hand. And also, interestingly, this is basically providing a medical record because you were talking about the vascular structure and function of someone's hand. And so within all of this, there's quite a bit of information. I'm unclear about all of the other information that is being gleaned from this, but just on the surface, this is what is going on. And so this vascular scanning, this hand scanning, this palm scanning is providing this information to allow individuals to engage in commercial activity, to engage in marketing activity, to engage in activities of daily living, essentially. It's a very interesting dynamic. Um, there are many people who apparently have decided that this is the way to go for them. And so many people are apparently using this thing. What's also interesting is this monopoly dynamic that appears to be going on with Amazon. Amazon has these tentacles, but there is still this dynamic of monopoly. So mono, one, yet again. So here we have, in addition to this palm reading dynamic, which involves some medical dynamics, medical information, we also have this entity known as One Medical that has now been acquired by Amazon. And so now Amazon has deepened its reach into the medical field and medical service provision. Again, with this name One. And so again, there's quite a bit of focus on this idea of oneness. Again, indivisibility with this One Medical. But what's important here is that you have this entity that is engaging in commercial practices that are a little different from the typical way of looking at a monopoly. It looks like this is a part of a process of monopolizing all of life. Okay, so we've got the financial part, you've got the food part, you've got the medical part. So there's a lot going on here. Communications with Amazon, supply chain dynamics with Amazon. And so Amazon, it looks like the business vision includes sort of being this umbrella, perhaps for the world, with respect to providing or controlling all of these types of resources that human beings use or utilize. And here is the earlier announcement. There's been a little bit more going on here, though. But it says, together, Amazon and One Medical will help more people get better care when and how they need it. It's some sort of medical membership sort of service. Doesn't seem like insurance. It seems like something else, but something similar to insurance here. And so there was this acquisition of this particular service, this One Medical. And One Medical is supposed to provide these sort of seamless services with virtual healthcare services, lab services, management of acute and chronic illnesses. And so One Medical is a medical provider of sorts, and Amazon now has acquired this entity. This means that Amazon, in addition to the palm reading, Amazon now has its hands in the health care of the population. And so it's a very interesting dynamic with this whole Amazon umbrella, but this umbrella seems to be broadening and going off into a variety of different directions here. And on a final note, you might recall our earlier discussions related to Prince. And you might also recall that Prince had an affinity for symbols and was particularly interested in the circle. So, particularly interested in the O, and you saw this O symbolism all over his work. And so, we're just going to make note of this interesting dynamic with respect to the O and this one dynamic. Interestingly, one, which of course starts with the letter O, one is synonymous with O. It's synonymous with zero. Again, interestingly, one is not just about being first, which of course that's very important here, or being the lowest number there. Um, it's also related to the construct of superiority. So being number one. And so in that way, one is not at the bottom, one is at the top. And so this idea of one is another way of saying superiority. Amazon one, Amazon superiority, medical one, medical superiority. So when seeing the O or the one, there are various ways of thinking about it. And one way of thinking about it is that someone is communicating this idea of singular superiority. Remember, knowledge is power. Take care. See you soon.